Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the St. Louis podcast for November 17, 2023. I'm your glorious host today, Eric Brown, sitting next to Katie Baker. Today, we have Andria. I'm going to butcher your last name. Vanmierlo. What's your last name?
Vanmierlo.
Vanmierlo, a personal trainer. Excuse me. Always butchering the intros. Andria Vanmierlo. Probably said it wrong again. Personal trainer and owner of VM Fitline on the St. Louis podcast, and we're going to get into the weeds with her and her business. But before we do, this is the St. Louis podcast where each and every Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, we drop an episode on all major podcasting, audio, and video platforms, where we meet with the most badass people and creators to talk about business, entrepreneurship, and current events. Now let's jump into it. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Katie, how are you this morning? You feeling good?
Not really, no.
No? Why not? What's wrong?
Just not feeling great.
No? I mean, we're talking about ear infection over here 2 weeks ago. Bree had an ear infection last week on the pod. Mine's still fucking with me. You said you had... What's going on with this ear infection? Is there some sort of conspiracy behind this, Matt?
I don't know.
Yes, you're passing it to everyone. What do you mean?
She said... Well, when I went to the urgent care, they said it was caused by allergies, by congestion. And I was like, I don't know. But the allergies were legitimately awful in Phoenix.
Mine weren't even that bad in Scottsdale
I don't know. When'd you go?
this past weekend.
Okay. Maybe the weather was better. I don't know.
It was like 80, sunny.
Maybe Southwest just has some on their flights. They're injecting someone.
Don't even get me started on my flights.
What?
It was a nightmare.
What'd you take, Southwest?
Mm-hmm.
What was wrong?
Oh, everything. So first of all, the flight was at 6 a.m. Sunday. Mind you, we didn't get back to the house until 1 a.m.
Oh my!
So we left
Oh
it.
my gosh.
We woke up at 3:30.
Why'd you book a 6 a.m. flight? Who booked this?
All of us.
Oh my
It was
God.
nonstop, and so all the other ones had like a couple stops, and we were like, no,
Okay.
fuck that.
Yeah.
So I'm not a morning person at all. So I was already just pissed off. So we get there. It's 1 billion degrees in the airport. So I'm
Yeah.
like on the verge of passing out at this point.
Yeah.
Still drunk probably. Because I went for a bachelorette party. So
Yeah.
went there. And then there was, I don't know if this was like an Arizona thing, but there was a lot of families and all of the children had helmets and scooters
Oh, wow.
riding around in the airport.
Helmets and scooters.
Yes. Like
Maybe it's-
full-blown little Razor scooters.
Maybe it was like the Nitro Circus family or something.
Maybe. So I was like, oh my God, like I hate like crying kids and kids in general, honestly.
Oh my God.
And I was like, it's gonna be my luck
Especially at
that
4:30 a.m.
that I'm gonna be right next to these people. They had a double-decker stroller and just they're running around. Yep, I was in the row right in front of them. Midway through, I felt really nauseous the whole flight because the turbulence, it literally was like up and down, up and down.
God.
I turn around at one point and one of the little girls, she was maybe 3 or 4, had vomited all over herself
Oh my God.
mid-flight. And so the grandma and the mom were trying to like clean her up, and she is not interested. She just wants to watch her iPad.
Oh my God.
There was like the mom was right behind me, and she had that little sling where the baby sits in it.
Yeah.
Baby is doing this to my seat the entire flight. And I turn around and the mom's like this, passed out. And I'm like, great. Then we're about to get off the flight and the mom gets up and she's like, all right, guys, like, let's get our scooters and our helmets down. The other little girl behind me also decided to chug 2 water bottles before we got off the flight. So she was like, she was literally threatening her parents to piss herself right there.
Oh my God.
They were like, no, you have to wait. This is why you don't drink anything when you go on a flight.
No, that's just why you drink. That's why you just stay hydrated and then you drink, you know.
And then
normally
a couple
on a
of
flight,
the girlfriends
not
that
chug water.
I was with were a couple rows back, and as we were waiting to deboard, one of them texted me and was like, the child is literally climbing on your seat, like about to grab onto your hair.
Oh my
And
God.
I turn around, sure enough, he's just like crawling up the seat.
Oh Lord.
Landed at like 9:30 in the morning.
So did you guys go and get drinks when you landed?
No, I wanted to go home at that point. I was so pissed
You
off.
should have just kept the party going at that point.
I couldn't. But Scottsdale was really fun though. Side note, because we went to
Where'd you
Barstool.
go? Where'd you go in?
Saturday we went to Barstool and we got free bottle service.
Interesting.
Free 2 bottles of tequila, champagne. It was great.
Where else did you guys go down there?
Did
you go to the Montauk like everyone else?
No, but we were right across from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went to Bottled Blonde.
Okay.
And then we tried to go to Riot House, but it was so crowded. It was like 12:30 at that point.
So I think my question real quick is, what did you do for karma to treat you like that?
Yeah.
Because that's not just one bad incident. That's like your entire morning.
The thing is, that's just my luck. There was also a guy in front of me. I was getting coffee next to our gate, and he was in a wheelchair with like one of those like chauffeur airport people.
Yeah.
And he had sunglasses on. He kind of reminded me of like
Ray Charles?
No. Like a not a Jay-Z, maybe like a Nelly a little bit. And he had sunglasses on, a Cardinals hat, matching like sport like legging
Was
things.
this Nelly?
No. So I was like, oh, like poor guy, like he's handicapped. Nope.
What do you mean no?
Nope. As soon as we got to board the flight, gets up, walks on, no problem. Then we land and they're like, okay, like who needs a wheelchair? And he's like, me.
Oh, this guy just...
So they
Just
wheel
to
him
get-
off, and then
So
we
he-
get to baggage claim, and he's like standing there with a leg up, like resting, and just like I'm like, this
Scoundrel.
guy.
I guess,
Ah.
do you have to be disabled or handicapped to get one of those chauffeurs and can just,
No, they don't check it.
Interesting.
Because at first
They're
only
just like,
two,
bring me a chair.
yeah, at first only 2 people were like, I need a wheelchair, and then they didn't bring a third one for him, and he was like, hey, like I need one. They brought
Oh my
one over
God.
for him.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, this guy. I could say his
Different.
name because there was another funny story about his name, but
That's
I can't.
life pro tips right there for anyone.
I know. I
Yeah.
was like, I should have done this.
You should have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely should have done that afterwards.
Because I was
100%.
also like, what is it? Boarding group like C,
Yeah.
number like 20.
Right.
I'm like,
So you
great.
just got to wait till the
Mhm.
very end.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Major side note.
okay. Getting into, so your personal trainer, nutrition counselor now, your company, VM Fitline, retired county cop, was on the drug task force. So I'm curious about the drug task force. What did you guys have like a main drug that you guys were trying to go after? Was it weight? Like, how did you determine like a person that you would actually want to go after, I guess is my question.
So, I was on the drug task force for about 6 years. So I worked undercover. So I went around St. Louis and bought drugs from all different people.
Okay.
So I was in like a medium term group. So back in the day when I was doing this, which was like circa 2004
Mhm.
to like 9-ish, 10-ish, we had a street team that did like very quick hand-to-hand deals, like buying weed on the street, just normal people that are, well, not normal, but your typical drug dealer on the corner.
Mm.
Then we had our group, which was like a medium term group. So we would do about 3 buys, try to find where the source was at a house, to hit the house, and then work our way up, and then eventually like flip the case over to like DEA or FBI, where
Okay.
spin up on a wire or something like that.
Mm.
So it just depended. Like we used informants a lot, so I had a lot of informants that would do the initial introduction,
Mm.
and it was just basic police work, digging into these people, finances, all that, to determine what level of dealer they were. Did they have a direct line to a higher up source?
Sure,
So
yeah.
we did all the things. Looked at phone records, all the different secret squirrel stuff
Gotcha.
that you see on TV.
I
I
was
was
about
gonna
to
say,
say.
is it like that?
Like The
shows?
Wire.
Yeah, The Wire is very real. It was very realistic. Yeah.
I love that show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. So interesting. So did you guys have like a primary place that you guys would focus on? I know you said you were in North County at the end of your career. Is that where the focus was there as well, or all over St. Louis?
No, it was just wherever I bought, my first deal was in Fenton.
Okay.
I bought drugs in North City. I bought drugs in South County.
Okay.
My first kilo rip was at Butler Hill and 55. I mean,
Okay.
we went everywhere. We went where the dope was.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of cases out in West County. Actually like older teenagers that were selling back in the day when weed wasn't legal,
Yep.
that were selling like the BC bud, and
Mhm.
they have drugs hidden up in their basement,
Yeah.
ceilings, stuff like that. We went everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun.
I was about to say, yeah. So if you could estimate the amount of weight that you guys found over the time that you were there?
Oh,
What's the largest bust you guys had?
So we weren't going after like tractor trailer loads. Like
Okay.
that was another unit. So
Okay.
ours was more like you buy an 8-ball to a half ounce to a couple ounces
Yeah,
of crack. And
infiltrate the dealer, find
yeah,
the
mhm,
supplier.
yeah, back
Yeah.
then it was like
Bunch of
we did a lot
21
of
Jump
crack.
Street.
Yeah, lots of crack being sold back then and meth. And then as it got longer, it was more like heroin and the fentanyl and stuff like that. I had a pretty good like a 200 plant weed grow that I got off of just a couple weed buys. That one was pretty cool. A couple kilos at a time, and nothing crazy. We had, gosh, I wish I could even remember. We had a couple good like money hits, like $100,000 or something
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
But that was the level that we were at. Like now the guys that are working DEA, FBI, they're doing like the big wires all the time. Like that's where there's some substantial weight in St. Louis. Let's just put it that way.
I'm not surprised. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
A lot of meth in Arnold. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, there was a lot of meth coming from Jeffco when I was.
Yep.
yeah.
That's where I still live.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
about to say meth and Jeffco. I mean, that
Yeah.
joke goes back to as long as I can remember, all the way back to when I was in Eureka in 2007.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that was Jeffco kid.
Yep.
Meth. Well, now
Yeah,
now
sad.
fentanyl is like the thing that's just killing absolutely everyone,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's cut in absolutely everything.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, at least some of your shit was clean. Now
Mhm.
people are sending their kids to college with kits to test. I'm like, are we?
Yeah.
At what
It's
point?
crazy. Yeah.
That's wild. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, so let's just hypothetically say you're at a party and you're drinking. Are you going to be the guy or the lady that's like, hold on,
Right.
real quick, let me mix it up in my kit that I have in my pocket?
My initial thought is, yeah, I would be that person, but I wouldn't.
It sounds nice and it sounds smart. Probably just don't do drugs, but
Yeah, that'd be the better.
that's
option.
the easier option. The easier option is just don't do drugs. But yeah, now I mean fentanyl's in fucking everything.
Mhm.
So I don't
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem because fentanyl is all coming from Mexico, correct? I don't really
Well,
know.
I think Mexico and like China, like it's
Mhm.
coming in
Okay.
through Mexico, through those borders, but
Yeah.
it's coming from other places too. It's all it's all over. It's
Yeah.
all over Europe. I have a foreign exchange student that's living with us now from Germany. Small town in Eastern Germany, and there's fentanyl there. I mean, it's
Really?
everywhere.
That's
yeah.
so
Yeah, I
cool.
was actually pretty.
Well,
I'm like, well, yeah, I
not
guess
the
it is
fentanyl.
everywhere, but yeah.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
That's play that back.
It's everywhere.
That's wild. I guess that makes sense. I always think of like a drug problem. Obviously, United States has a big drug problem, but I always think of it as like a issue here, not so much abroad. I wouldn't have even thought that. Yeah, a small town in Germany has fentanyl, but of
Yeah.
course, I mean, if there's
Yeah.
money to be made, there's going to be
That's
someone trying to
yeah.
get it somewhere.
That's so weird to think about, like
Yeah.
how it is over there.
I just imagine like being in Oktoberfest, taking a bus to like some small town in Germany with like there's stone buildings and
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
and just a dude fucking passed out on fentanyl in the corner. I'll be like, okay, well, I guess this
I
is
feel at
America
home,
after
yeah.
all. Yeah,
Yeah.
The amount of people I saw in DC and Phoenix that were just fucking out of their minds on the side of the road, just
Yeah.
driving by is insane.
I didn't see
South
anybody.
City is like that now too.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like zombie
Mm-hmm.
country.
Like where at in South City?
Like just on the other side of Lime, like
Okay.
South Broadway, all the State
Lime's
Streets.
bad now,
Yeah,
too.
it's-
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely changed in the 20. I mean, I started as a cop in like 2000 down there, and it's
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people moved out of that area. So I guess as
Yeah.
people move out,
Well, I was looking at a house, like I was just browsing, and I was like, "Oh, it's like over here," and my mom's like, "No."
no.
Like it was over in Lima, and she was like, "Absolutely not."
Well, even like Bevo in those areas are getting
Yeah.
worse
Oh,
and
yeah,
worse.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, so what happened was I'm not even familiar at all with South County or South City. I don't know anything
I don't
about
think
the
South
history
County
there.
is that bad.
Well, what's the issue with South City then? What happened there?
I don't
Just
know.
everyone
It's
moved
just
out.
like-
There's just drugs everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
I
like
mean,
Hoosier and just drugs everywhere. It is.
it's just sad.
Yeah.
It's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
It seems like it's not getting any better.
Mm-mm.
That's what it seems like.
And I don't have an answer. I don't even know if there's anything good. Matt, do you have an answer? Or philosopher back here, Nostradamus, do you have an answer for the drug problem of the Lime area?
I don't know, but I know that whenever I worked at Domino's up and around there, a cop came in and asked me, "Hey, where's my crack pipe at?" Because one of the people that got pulled over hid the crack pipe underneath the pizza from Domino's and blamed it on us. So,
Lord.
to answer your question, I don't think so.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, sounds like there's just rampant problems. That's always lovely. So, okay. So with being so the attitude towards cops, I'm curious if you can lend some insight here. It seems like there's a lot of negative attitude right now. Now, I would say some of it is definitely potentially warranted based on YouTube. I mean, there's countless videos online of cops not knowing people's rights and doing shit improperly. So I guess is it the issue of have cops always been this way, and now we're just seeing it because everyone has a phone, you're wearing stuff, or is it we had better training back in the day, now we have more people coming in, the people that we would potentially want to be cops don't want to be cops. It seems like there's a lot of problems. I don't know if there's a good answer.
I think it's a combination of all the above. I mean, I think the cop profession is like any profession where, you're going to have a very few bad eggs.
Mhm.
There's a very few bad eggs in every profession. And then now with social media and cameras, those bad eggs are just more focused on and it gets blown up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like there was injustices done by the police a long time ago, just like there are today. I don't think it's as rampant as the news would want you to believe.
Mhm.
I firmly believe that the news and the government wants us to be divided
Yeah,
because we're
100%.
not strong when we're together.
Mhm.
I mean, I worked in a lot of specialized units, and I'll tell you, my last 7 years, I worked with amazing human beings. They were amazing, and they were white, black, old, young, and they really truly cared about the job. They did, and they weren't out there to abuse rights. And in fact, we would get, stuff like the George Floyd and that, like we get pissed about that. Like it's bullshit. Like we don't. No, nobody wants to go out and like, oh, I'm gonna go kill somebody today unjustifiably, or that's like your worst nightmare to end up in a shooting, and then have it be broadcasted as if it's not justified. Not saying that George Floyd was or whatever, but like cops by and large, they just want to go out and they want to make a difference. They want to put, like when I was a cop, I wanted to put people in the penitentiary. I wanted to put people in prison who belonged in prison. Not jail, not the guy that's selling weed or the guy that shoplifted, no, people that belong in prison should be in prison.
Yes.
And I think the majority of cops, that's what they want. They want really bad guys that belong in prison to go to prison so that the rest of the world is safer. So I do think social media does make it appear worse than it is. I mean, police work's changed so much. I mean, now we have so much more accountability than we used to. I mean, body cameras. I mean, I was a supervisor when I left. I was a sergeant. And I mean, every one of my officers had a body camera. Anytime there was an allegation of abuse, which I was in the special response unit for like 3 years, and we went after the most violent offenders in the St. Louis area. And I can count on one hand the number of complaints we had. I mean, it was like 2. I think my squad had like 2. And neither one of them were found to be true.
Sure.
So cops have the body cameras. Anytime there's a car accident or a use of force, I mean, that everybody who is there, their body camera gets reviewed extensively by the supervisors, by internal affairs, yada, 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 all the way up to the chief. So there's definitely more accountability these days to kind of prevent those things from happening.
Do you think ending qualified immunity would be beneficial?
Yeah, I mean, cops need to be protected because there are people that go out there and, this is a job. There's plenty of things to protect the public and there's avenues for if the police officer does something wrong for them to be prosecuted. So, yeah.
Yeah, because some people say like they should almost, if you're going to be a police officer and you do something wrong, taxpayers shouldn't be held accountable. They should essentially have their own insurance, like a doctor would, if you will.
Yeah.
Or some sort of insurance policy that police officers would have to pay into in the event that they do something wrong, and then taxpayers aren't held accountable for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, everybody that I know that was a police officer, we were a member of the FOP or the Ethical Society. And so in general, if you get into trouble, you're going to have an attorney that's going to help with everything. But,
Gotcha.
I mean, I wasn't around anybody that did anything like egregious, like we're talking like, George Floyd was or something like that. So,
Sure.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different opinions on all that.
Sure. Yeah. So with the, I think the sentiment of, if there are people that think negative of cops, it's not a good sentiment to have, because really you would want the police to be there in the case of, I don't know, a list of 1,000 things
Right.
that potentially happened to you. But then I also think the problem also is like people aren't personally responsible right now. It seems like with the whole gun right thing, I don't know where you stand on it, but having something to protect yourself makes sense, because you call the cops, they might be there in 5 minutes, they may be there in an hour.
Could
Right.
be
Right.
too late.
Right. So
Nobody's coming to save you is what I tell people.
Yes.
Because every department is extremely short.
yes.
Most departments are very young departments. The officers don't have a ton of experience with high stress situations. And, I advocate having your own weapon, but being proficient at it, being trained, know what you're doing, know what you're going to do if the what if happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree
I
completely.
actually do whole security seminars on like topics like that to keep people safer, because
Okay.
you call 911, you're going to probably be put on hold. You might get every time we've had to call 911, we've been put on hold. I mean, that's just a reality. So you got to be able to think clearly and know what you're going to do and react and handle the situation until help arrives.
Well, I know one of my friends is a woman, lives by herself in her own home, won't get a gun. I'm just like, I mean, okay, something probably won't happen, right? 99% nothing's going to happen, or 99.99%. But what about that 0.1? Someone breaks into your house, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You have nothing. You're not going to protect yourself, because
that's also the sad thing too, though, is like you have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
we don't live in a perfect society.
No, it's a
there's
very
criminals
violent
out there,
world,
and
yeah.
there's
That's my point.
Yeah. It seems like it's worse now than it was when I was a child, as far as breaking, entering, stealing. But it doesn't. Is
It's
the issue
worse.
they're not getting put away? I mean, we know that's the issue in California and a lot of those cities. They're just not locking these people up.
I can tell you, when I was in the special response unit, we locked up the same people numerous times. And we're talking about for crimes like violent domestic assaults, carjackings.
So
Yes.
why would
Yep.
they get released?
I don't know.
Is there
Talk
not
to the judge. I
Is
don't
there
know.
not
Yeah.
enough room in the?
That's what I was about to
They're
say.
released until their court date. They may or may not show up for the court date. Yeah, there's not enough room in the jail to hold them until their court date.
Gotcha.
The courts are backed up, so they're not getting a timely trial. Like if you get locked up in the federal system, like when I had federal cases, I mean, chances are you're going to trial within a year. St. Louis County, I mean, I'm still getting subpoenas for stuff from like when I was an officer, which was like 8 years ago, 9 years ago,
yeah.
not even as a supervisor. So yeah, it's just, these people are running around crazy. They're not doing time. It's just
Okay, I have a
crazy.
question. Could be controversial, but whatever. Thoughts on the like death sentence, like death row? So
It's
I'll back
apparently
it up.
more expensive to kill them than to keep them in prison.
Oh, really?
I don't believe
But
that for a
we're
second.
paying to keep them in there.
It doesn't make sense, but that's what I've heard. If you want to look it up.
I will here in a second. Yeah, because if
Like,
you
if
keep someone for 30 years, that's 30 years of expense.
Yeah.
I know.
So if you're sentenced to death, you're on death row for could be years.
Yeah, you get a lot of appeals.
So it's like, what? No.
I think
Like
I think my biggest problem with death sentence is there has been definitely proven times. Not only have we killed someone that then was found out to be innocent afterwards, but yeah, just I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know. Now I think there are maybe some, say you're a pedophile, and it's like say it's like it's indisputable. Nah, I don't.
You're done right away.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't need to sit in prison for your whole life.
Think about what you did. Yeah, I don't know. Have them make license plate or whatever they do.
No thanks.
I don't know.
And also, why are we giving them whatever they want to eat as their last meal.
Do they actually do that? Is that real? I don't think that's real.
Is it?
I don't think that's real.
Mm.
I don't
There's
know.
no way.
What do you mean? Oh,
Like the Last Supper.
meal?
they can request a last meal, but because people have abused it, like asking for a bunch of stupid shit, and they now make it, much more manageable. You can't ask for a 5-star meal that lasts 4 hours.
That's what I was. No, I
But
remember.
still, if you're that shit of a person, I'm sorry, you don't deserve a prime rib.
A last meal.
Fucking, yeah.
I don't think that's real. I don't think that's real.
I will look it up here in a minute
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I was about to say there's no way that the last meal thing is realistic. But also,
Customary ritual preceding execution.
really, it's still done. I think there's only a few states that still actually have the death penalty, though. There was actually
In addition to a final meal, condemned prisoners are allowed to request alcohol or cigarettes.
so they can request. Doesn't mean they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck
I
off.
guess.
You're not getting that. You don't deserve.
Mhm.
That's like the Gerard Butler scene in oh my God, what is that? What's that movie where his wife's and son or daughter's killer isn't convicted, and then he goes on a rampage against Jamie Foxx and like everyone at the district's attorney's office. I just remember the Last Supper scene.
No clue.
They bring a steak in and a knife, and then he just kills his person that's in the same room as him, and then that way he gets locked up in solitary. It's a whole thing. That movie though is crazy. That movie is crazy. All right.
Law-abiding citizen?
Yeah, law-abiding citizen.
Okay.
That's a classic. Jamie Foxx is the attorney, the district attorney.
You're still spewing details, and I've never seen it.
It's a classic.
Wow. Yeah. So real quick, Eric was correct. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, I told you it's more expensive. Can you explain this?
Yeah. So basically, the actual cost of the procedure is not, exorbitant, but it's all the appeals, all the times, all the lawyers, all the bullshit that announced just to this ridiculous cost. And they said sometimes it can go on for as long as 10, 12 years of them just keep getting this over and over again, more and more expensive each time. Or if you just let them sit there for 50 years, then it's just one cost.
Interesting.
Which is absolutely ridiculous.
I told you they had the math problem figured out. They want to make it. Those are most of them are for-profit prisons. They want to make that money, which is probably another reason why we have an issue with people that maybe shouldn't be locked up, and then maybe some of these people that should be locked up, we'd have room for them to actually be in there.
Yeah.
There are though other countries that don't really have as big of a problem with like the small violent crimes like we're talking about. And
They get their hands chopped off.
no, I'm talking about maybe it's just like Nordic countries and things like Denmark and places like that. I feel like they also have a different completely different prison system.
Yeah.
It's all like rehabilitation based.
Oh, well, especially I think it is in Denmark where they put you away, but you live within a community.
Yeah.
That's basically one giant prison. You still interact. You still do your job. Yeah, that's great. And their retention, they don't have people come back. They don't have repeat offenders.
Yeah, I feel like if
the
we did that
biggest
here,
thing,
it would be a nightmare.
Oh, well, you couldn't do it here. People
I know,
are
but
far
like
too fucked up.
Yeah, thinking about that happening here, it's like,
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should have a couple different types of prisons then. One for, one for the people that we
minor
can't help.
offenses, Yeah.
Well, if they're minor offenses, why are they even in there? Just fucking have them do. Why isn't there some sort of outpatient prison, or is there? Maybe there is.
There are some where it's like I don't know if the workhouse is like that, or there used to be where it wasn't like outpatient, but like you get like little passes. I think I might be making that up. I don't know. I feel like there are.
It's in a movie.
Yeah.
The biggest
Maybe
thing,
that's parole. Yeah.
yeah, the biggest thing
Like
is a lot of
probation.
them want to go back into prison because they can't. They come out, they
get
can't get a
everything.
job.
Yeah, they
Well, they can't get a
everything in
job
there.
or anything. What are they going to do? Go back to what they know. Especially if our system's not built to set them up for success, which is a problem with prison. But we're
That's besides the point.
we're not built. We didn't build our prisons for that, did we? We just built them to hold.
Well, yeah, I think
Just-
someone said in a documentary, like he went away for 30 years on a bunch of drug charges. I think it was even murder. He came out and treated like absolute garbage. He was back in the life in like a year, and then he ended up back in there. He was just like, wow, I just wasted all that time for nothing. I should have just stayed in here.
Well, we do treat them better than they were treated in the past. I was watching this YouTube video earlier. I don't know why this came on. or it was actually yesterday, excuse me. I couldn't watch something like this in the morning. It was like all these different ways that they used to kill people that were like convicted of stuff. It's a YouTube channel. It has millions of views. I'm not a weirdo. Don't think I'm weird. All right. Anyway, so one of the original ones was they had like in I think like the 16 or 1700s, they used to have like in castles, they would be next to water a lot of the time, and they'd have like these dungeon rooms where when the rain would come up, all of the rats would go in there and
just
eat them alive.
Oh my God.
Yes, Eric. They also put a bucket around your stomach with a rat in there
Yes.
and lit it on fire so it
Yeah.
would crawl through you. You're talking
Yeah.
about so from back then, yes, we
We
treat people like kings now.
yes.
Okay.
I've never heard of that. That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. They used to,
Whew.
they'd put a rat on you,
I'll tell you what, back
and then
they
they
didn't
put a
have lot
lid
of
on it,
crime.
then they'd heat up the lid, and the rat would eat through you to get out.
Wasn't a lot of crime
That
back
is
then because of
horrible.
that shit.
I know.
God.
Now I'm more scared of rats than I was
Crazy.
before.
Oh my, yeah, be scared of
That's
rats. They can fit through an
disgusting.
inch hole.
You know?
Ooh.
Anyways, okay, now that I don't know how we went there. All right. So I'm curious, as being on the drug task force, what do you see as a way that would be maybe valuable for drug addiction? Is there anything we should be doing that we're not doing?
I don't think there's anything that we're not doing. to help
Okay.
that. I mean, that addiction is people have to want to get help. You can't
Yeah.
put it down. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
yeah. And I mean, when you're dealing with something like heroin, fentanyl, I mean, it's just a very hard.
Yeah.
They have to hit their rock bottom, whatever it is, and then they have to decide to get help. You can't force. You know what I mean? Like I know they do the where they give them the shots where they can't get high from this. I forget what the name
Interesting. Okay, I didn't
escapes
know.
me. I mean, like, yeah, maybe that would help more. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I think society in general is probably doing about as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. Maybe raise more awareness for like the younger kids so that they don't start.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of times it starts with the pain pills and the oxy
Mhm.
and all that. You know what I mean? So it's just
Mhm.
kind of a slippery slope.
It's also easy to get.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
I
the
remember-
doctors yeah.
I remember pill parties back in the day in like middle school. Thank God my parents told me not to fucking do any of that stuff. But I remember a couple of times where people just have pills.
Yeah, like
And
that's crazy.
That's
yeah.
it was crazy.
I'm from Jeffco and that never happened. Or at least
Shit.
I
don't know.
Not who I was hanging out with.
Fucking
Yeah.
all these West County parents are taking
Yeah.
all these
Yeah,
pills,
yeah.
and
I was gonna say
these
they have
kids
money.
just
Yeah.
or just to go in their medicine
Yeah.
cabinet and take
Jesus.
Mhm.
all
Yeah,
the
that's
medicine. It was
scary.
crazy. I remember a couple of parties like that in middle school, like 7th grade.
I grew up in the
That's nuts.
boonies, and like the worst thing we had was a little bit of pot and some beer.
Well, yeah. Well, that was so that yeah, I'm not even going to call out an area or a school or anything like that because I might just upset people. But let me just tell you, yeah, that was interesting for sure. Yeah, a lot of those people that I saw at those parties in that area ended up turning into drug addicts. A lot of
Mhm.
them,
Yeah,
Yeah,
an
it's sad.
absolute ton of them. Actually, now that I think about
It's
it,
really sad.
yeah, no, it's not good. But like you said, it starts young.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're taking stuff in
8th grade.
8th
Mhm.
grade, yeah.
Pills, yeah.
It can only get worse.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Do you think mental health is another issue that really goes into starting of it or continuing of it? Because I think mental health
Yeah, I
isn't
mean,
taken
I think
very
people-
seriously still.
Yeah, people that don't have good coping skills, obviously that's why they're using drugs to
Yeah.
escape their maybe they don't have a good support system. There might be mental health. I mean, I had a stalker who was mentally ill who showed up at my house.
Really?
and
Holy
he's been in the
shit.
state mental facility for like 6 years now.
Oh my goodness.
So mental health is a definite thing that I've had experience with. And I
Mhm.
mean, but the thing is, you can't force on, the guy was off his meds. He thought he was Jesus Christ. He
Yeah.
was coming to
he
marry
thought
me.
you were Jesus Christ.
He thought he was.
Oh, I'm like,
And
what?
he was, he was going to marry 7 wives and go to Mars. And he like showed up at my house to like, let's go to Mars.
Interesting.
It's like,
Interesting.
he was very
Crazy
convinced.
because
Did he have a
very convinced.
spaceship?
No, he did not.
Oh.
was he a polygamist?
I guess so. I don't know.
Speaking
It's
of, I've been
very
watching
crazy.
Sister Wives. I'm almost caught up.
What is Sister Wives?
Stop, Eric. No, don't.
I'm not going to, Matt. Don't worry.
Do you know what Sister Wives is?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
What is it?
So it's on TLC.
Yeah. Oh God.
That's all you need to know right there. Why do you keep asking?
It's been going on since 2010. They're on season 18 right now. It's still on.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. Why.
My mom watches it, and I got hooked on it. So
Funny.
one guy,
Sister wives.
yeah, you'll find everything. So this guy, Cody
Mhm.
Brown,
Mm-hmm.
had 4 wives and like 23 children.
Ugh.
Now he only has 1 wife. The other 3 left him.
His 4 wives and 18 children.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
From the ages of like 26 to like 4.
Doesn't that just sound like paradise there, Eric? You know?
So
4 wives.
I'm
More
on.
headaches. You got
I'm on
it.
the
4
season.
headaches.
I'm on the season right now where it's like
Matt.
middle of COVID and the family is just like
Oh, they probably all hate each
a
other.
nightmare.
Yeah, they probably
Well, they don't all
all
live
hate-
together.
They're not in one big house.
No, he wants them to be, and all the wives are like, absolutely fucking not.
So they all
So
have 4.
weird.
So they have 4 houses. So he
Yeah.
just travels around.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, are
They
they
have a
like on the
schedule.
same street?
If they all live in the
So
same
they lived
house,
in Utah, but it
Mhm.
was illegal there. They would be taken to prison. So they moved to Vegas for a couple years, and they built houses like in a little cul-de-sac. So they were all like right across from each other. Well, they got tired of Vegas, so they just moved to Flagstaff, Arizona.
Okay.
They bought a property of like
Flagstaff is dope. That's
of
what's
like
up.
10-acre property, and they've been there for like almost 3 years now. They have not even touched the property. So all their houses are like 30 minutes from each other. So the family
Interesting.
is like, I don't really care to like see everybody else. So I'm just going to stick
Yeah.
here and do my thing. But he like has a system, and he'll like every like 3 days he'll go to a different wife's house and like spend time with them. But right now he's telling one of the wives that he doesn't love her, doesn't like her. The other one, he's not attracted to her at all because her behavior, because she didn't want to follow the strict list of rules that he gave them
Though he has rules, I'm
for
sure.
COVID.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
What do you mean for COVID?
it's during COVID. What I'm watching right
okay.
now. Yeah. See, 2010 to present.
So he cares about masks? Is that what you're saying?
Cares about what?
Wearing mask?
Oh yeah, and he's like, when you
Really?
get mail, you need to leave it in the mailbox for 24 hours at
Oh,
least.
God.
If you get anything delivered, you have to wipe everything down, even your groceries, with an alcohol wipe.
Lord.
And
I think
two of the wives are like, I'm not doing that.
there's no way that a guy like that would care about COVID. How does that make
no,
any
it is
sense?
very shocking because he's like pretty conservative. Yeah.
It goes back to him being on TLC.
He's also
That's
just
all I'll say.
he's just
I
a com-
guarantee that's all for the views. That's
no,
all for
he,
the,
he's
there's
a
no
complete
way.
narcissist. It's like
Well,
infuriating.
of course.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
4 wives
Yeah.
and 18 kids.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
hmm
That's his mental illness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. Oh my god.
But it's very interesting, and I've learned a lot about polygamy. Would never live it.
I mean,
I was gonna say, how's that helping you though?
It's not helping me at all.
what are you learning from the show? So it sounds
All of the kids are like, "Oh, I will never have a sister wife. Like, I'm never gonna live this."
a sister wife.
But the dad is like,
That
I'm like
name.
raising them to be so religious in our religion. I want them to be polygamous when they're older,
What's
and
their religion?
they're not LDS. They're
What's
still like Mormon.
Oh, Latter-day Saints.
Oh.
Yeah, they're still like Mormon, but
Hmm.
some of the wives are starting to like not be religious at all.
Interesting.
I wonder
They like
why.
don't drink alcohol. They like barely cuss. They can't wear anything like super revealing.
All right, sister wives. Shout out sister wives. You should send them a message, see if we can get a sponsor for them on the podcast. We just gave them a shout out.
They have no money. They can't build houses. That's why they're in rentals right now.
Oh God.
Okay, let's talk about VM Fitline real quick.
Alrighty.
So you said we were talking a little bit before. You said that you've been training and everything essentially since college. So you retired how long ago?
March of 22.
Okay, and then you've been doing this full time since then.
Yep.
Gotcha. So tell all the viewers, if you would, a little bit about VM Fitline and what you do.
So it is our fitness business. So my husband, he is still a police officer paramedic. He works for DePere, so he's kind of like he helps as well with the business. But basically, we do one-on-one personal training. I do small group fitness classes. I do youth speed, strength, and agility training. I do online training and coaching, and then nutritional coaching for pretty much people in the greater St. Louis area. The online coaching is for people that don't necessarily live close. We're based out of Oakville, so we have a studio gym. That's where all the training goes down. And yeah, I've been doing that full time for 2 years, but we've been an LLC for about like 12 years. So I
Okay.
was doing
Oh,
it
wow.
part-time while I was
Yeah.
a cop. Yeah. And
So
just
you've been
kinda
doing it
slowly
for a long
building
time,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I
Mhm.
finally decided to go all in with the business. Yeah.
That's
It's been
awesome.
great. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I'm curious. We talked about diet a little bit last week, right?
Mhm.
So let's talk
Cold
about
plunges.
let's
yeah.
talk. Yeah, we talked about cold plunges
Oh, yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
We talked about saunas. We were talking about bro science. So I'm curious, as far as a nutrition counselor is concerned, what are like 3 things, if you could, or 1 thing that like the average person either doesn't know or needs to be told this, that they either shouldn't be eating something or something that they should be eating that potentially they're not?
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE. Career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today, right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.
Now back to the show.
Most people that I come in contact with in the beginning, the one thing that they are not doing that they should be doing is eating enough protein.
Okay.
So usually, like when I'm starting with
Is
a
it
new
body
client,
weight? You're supposed to do body
that's
weight
what
and
I,
protein?
yeah,
Okay.
about your body weight and protein, or some
Okay.
people say your goal weight and protein. But
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I do at least my body weight and protein, even when so I do bodybuilding shows and stuff.
Mhm.
So even like when I'm in a caloric deficit, I'm over my body weight and protein.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you're not going to get overweight or not lose weight because you're eating too much protein. So I pretty much tell people, aim for your body weight and protein.
Mhm.
And then drinking more water. Those are kind of like 2 things that I think a lot of people are dehydrated the majority of the time. And
Yep.
if you're dehydrated, it can mask itself as making you feel hungry.
Ah,
And then
okay.
if you eat enough protein consistently throughout the day, you're not going to be as hungry and craving all the sugary stuff because protein's going to fill you up longer.
Mhm.
That's like the simplest advice I can give people is if they can focus on protein and water, usually everything else will kind of fall into place.
Interesting.
I didn't know that about water.
What,
Yeah.
being dehydrated is bad for you?
No, I know that it like masks and like makes you.
It can make
feel
you
hunger.
you'll
Yeah.
think you're
Hungrier.
hungry but you're thirsty. Yeah.
So actually Clayton used to say, if you're hungry, drink water.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're gonna laugh. I hate water.
Well, you can flavor it. You
I
You can use
know.
those little Mios or Crystal Light
Yeah.
I
or
was gonna say, do you
I'll
hate
put,
living too?
yeah.
So how much water?
It
A gallon?
No.
Yeah, I would I would say like 64 ounces minimum, like half a gallon to a gallon.
Okay.
I mean, I tell my clients I tell them to aim for a gallon a day. They
Okay.
usually don't hit it. You know, I drink a gallon to a gallon and a half, but I'm like,
I aim for 100 ounces.
that's good. Yeah, that's almost a gallon. That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you reach that often?
Almost every day, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Man, good. This cup right here, I may drink it in a day.
Oh my God.
May.
You're dehydrated, Matt.
Yeah.
You sit
Yeah, I
here, you
usually
stare
only
at the
drink one of
screen, you
these.
work.
Oh yeah. You should try to drink
4
like
hours of
3 of
passing.
those.
Yeah,
Or 4.
you're
God.
supposed to pee like what, 8 times a day or something?
I don't know the pee rate how many
The
times,
pee
but
ratio.
it should be
Come
clear,
on.
like clearish. It shouldn't be dark. If your urine's dark, that's not good.
Yeah, Matt.
What do you think about 75 hard?
I think it's good for a certain population.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Have you done it?
I've never done it because I don't like my workouts in general as they are. I'm usually like an hour and a half to 2 hours a day. So for me to divide it up into
Right.
240, like it's
Just
not
doesn't
going to
make
be
sense.
conducive to what my goals are as far as like building a bunch of muscle. But I think
Mhm.
it's good for people to like build in habits, you
Yeah.
know. But I think sometimes people go really hard for 75 days and then they kind of fall off. But now they've got like the continuation of 75 hard and stuff. So it's good for some people. You know, I've never done it. I mean, it'd be cool to do sometime maybe, but right. I mean,
Yeah.
I run my dogs in the morning. I do my work. Like it'd be hard to me to do that. I'd be probably working out less than what I am now.
I feel like for some of the people that I know that have done it, we're all mainly business owners that were out of shape that are now in shape.
Yeah, like it's
So
great for building like
Yes.
those habits. I mean, it's good to read. I mean, there's lots of great stuff. I'm not like not against it. It's good for some people.
It
It's not
helps
something
people
that I tell
don't
everybody
have
to do.
any routine.
My boyfriend did it.
Yeah,
He fell off.
yeah. And
That's the-
it's
but
a
that's
cool
the
thing
big
to
problem.
accomplish.
But
Once
he
you're
did
done.
really like doing it.
Yeah, like it really.
He's big into like psychology, so he got some psychology books
Yeah.
and he
It's all
liked
it's
running.
habit forming. It's all it is.
Yeah.
Just literally
Yeah.
just habit forming.
I've tried to do it.
That's why it's
I
it's 75 days because I think it takes. You're s-
27?
months,
Yeah, you're supposed to. Your brain. There's different like 14 days of doing something, like 2 months of doing something. The 75 is a number. I forgot. It's something that has to do with instilling a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's talked about in Atomic Habits, which is a good book.
yeah.
That's what
Okay.
I was reading last time I tried to do it.
Atomic Habits.
Yeah, and I didn't finish, so I just stopped reading the book.
Ah, oh no.
All right, hold on. Back to protein. I'm curious. So red meat, the older population, my parents' age, 60-year-olds, they're all like red meat's bad. I'm like,
Delicious though.
no, it's not. Can you lend some insight here on red meat, steak?
I mean, I think it's better to get it like grass fed,
Mhm.
obviously. So, like, my sister owns a grass fed butcher shop in Maplewood.
All right,
Bulliards,
shout
so,
it
like,
out.
yeah,
What is it?
Bulliards, Meat and Provisions. So,
Who owns that?
my sister and her husband, Abby Bulliard.
Really?
And Chris Bulliard, yeah.
Oh shit! I love that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you
Yeah.
do.
Anytime I'm in Maplewood, I go in there and
Yeah,
they have
they're
dog
great.
treats that are
Yeah,
amazing.
the liver treats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I would say it's better to get it if you're gonna. I eat red meat.
Wait, hold
I eat
on.
some red meat, but not a lot.
Dog treats. You don't have a dog.
No, I buy it for I buy it. And it's not for me. I buy it. Anytime I go in there, I buy it for my friends that do have dogs.
Oh,
that's
So then I'll
sweet.
give 'em to
Yeah.
him.
that
They
just
love 'em.
computed in my brain. I'm like, he
No,
doesn't
I'm
even
not
have a
eating
pet.
dog
No,
shit.
he's
I'm just
lying.
Yeah, you're like,
eating
they're
them.
so
Eating them.
good. I'm like, what?
All right,
Okay,
so
sorry.
grass fed.
Yeah, I would say go with grass fed if you can. And honestly, Bulliards, it's like pretty much the same price as if you get regular beef like at Deerberg's. Like
Yep.
the prices have gone up. So yeah. You know, I mean, I wouldn't eat it every single day, but I don't tell my people not to eat red meat. I mean, protein is protein.
Mhm.
Now, if you're going for a certain type of goal, you know, like if you're in a caloric restrictive diet, like when
Mhm.
when I'm getting ready for a show, I don't eat any red meat. It's like fish, chicken, turkey. But
Yeah.
like right now, I'm like in a lean bulk phase or whatever where I'm not like trying to lose weight. So
Mhm.
I'm eating red meat along with everything, but like a lean red meat. You know, I wouldn't eat like ribeye, you know, sirloin, lean ground sirloin, stuff like that. That's totally fine.
I'm
I mean,
just
there's
a
a difference.
sucker for strip steak.
Yeah, our strips, I don't think they're not that bad. They're not super fatty.
No,
they're a
they're
little
not.
bit more fatty than like a sirloin, but yeah.
But I feel like
or
that's
beef tenderloin. Like, yeah.
yeah. I find it an easy way to get protein because I hate chicken. We were talking about this last week.
Really? I
Just
must have not listened to that.
chicken. Yeah, we were talking about how much chicken breasts are just awful and boring.
Oh,
it is
I
hard.
like chicken
You
breast.
gotta get used to it. Yeah, chicken can be hard.
Like chicken, broccoli, and rice. I'm just like,
Remember, I told him
Add
I was
some
going to bring him
flavor.
that for his Thanksgiving. He was
even
just going to
flavor.
get flavor.
I used to do lemon pepper chicken breast. I can't even eat lemon pepper anymore. I
Yeah, that
hate it
sounds
so
really
much.
boring.
You need to go to Supplement Superstore and get some of their spices, get some Tony's Sweet Heat, stuff like that. And
See, I have.
Yeah.
it always ends up dry. Maybe I'm just cooking.
you're
bread.
probably
Yeah,
cooking
you
it
fry
way
it.
too long. Yeah.
You must
Do it,
not
put
be
it in a
good cook.
crock pot or a Instapot with a
Yeah.
bunch of seasoning. It's
That's what I
shredded.
need to
It's
do.
juicy. You can make like
Yep.
burritos out of it or
Yep.
tacos.
This is a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I'm gonna
That's-
do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get
I
some.
should have brought you a
chicken.
cookbook. I have a cookbook. It's got all kinds of great chicken.
Oh, yeah, I
Come
did see
on,
that.
yeah.
I totally didn't even think of it.
Well, have you never like
I'll
cut up
send you one.
chicken and just like had in like burritos or a taco or something? 'Cause
No, I love chicken. I eat it all the time. I just don't cook it at
It's
home
hard
like
to
ever.
cook sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
don't
can be
really
hard.
eat it at home.
you just buy it out and then just do.
Like I'll eat like a chicken sandwich or something.
Okay, well, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
No, I like chicken. I just suck at cooking it.
I mean,
Like
it's a pain in the ass.
chicken
I'm not good at
thighs-
cooking it either.
Yeah, chicken thighs are good, but I
Yeah.
I can cook a mean steak, so I just stick to what I know.
That's fine.
Eric's meals every day is
Steak
steak.
is totally acceptable.
Dude, I eat steak
6 times a week.
If I'm cooking at home at night, I'm cooking steak, which is like probably 4 to 5 times a week. So yeah,
Damn, I was joking. That's probably not healthy to eat steak 5 times a week.
no, yeah, it is.
I mean,
It's
get
got a
your
lot of
blood work
good-
done. See what your blood work is.
That's
Honestly,
true.
it's the sweets and the carbs that kill people more than the steak, in my opinion. Like it's the processed crap.
Yes.
You know, we've been eating red
The
meat
moose.
since we've been eating red meat since beginning of time. We haven't been
Mhm.
eating Pop-Tarts and cereal and cookies and shit
Yeah.
like that, right? Like
Yeah.
that's it's all like the paleo diet or whatever. you know,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Meat, fruit, veggies, nuts, seeds. You're not gonna die eating that stuff.
I've noticed.
large.
I've slowly been like gluten intolerant or bread intolerant
Oh, yeah.
over time, and it really upsets me.
Tragic.
But
so
it's-
tragic.
It seems like it though with fresher bread, like if it's
like
an actual good bread from like
Right.
a good deli,
Like a bakery.
then it doesn't really. I have no issues at all.
Mhm.
it's all the preservatives.
It's all-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Our food here is going back to my exchange student from Germany.
Mhm.
Like
Oh,
food
it's
here
awful.
is so different.
Mm-hmm. That we
Like,
were talking
it
about that a
is
couple weeks
disgusting
ago.
compared to and I have a friend that's over in Albania. Like their food, the stuff that they put in our food, they're not allowed to put in food over there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big part
Like
of the problem.
poison.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you really have to go and get, pasture raised stuff if you
Yeah.
can. I mean, if you can afford a pasture raised, I mean, chicken, eggs, milk, all that stuff,
Yeah.
steak. That's the best. Yeah. Shout out Bullyards. Oh my God.
Yeah. They're awesome.
I need to go by there. The problem is I don't live that way, so I don't get a chance to go by there as much as I would like to.
yeah.
Mhm.
Same.
Anytime I go in there, though, Blue Duck right down the
Oh,
street.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Now I'm just craving steak.
You
Damn
always
it.
do this. You make me hungry because I haven't eaten yet, you bastard.
I haven't eaten anyway either, so it's all right. It's all right. Okay. Now that we've talked about protein. So I'm curious, bread. Is it just overall bad for you? I mean, what's the thought on carbs as a whole?
Carbs are not bad for you. It's everything in moderation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I eat carbs. I had a
Mhm.
bagel this morning actually, with eggs though. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you don't want to. You always just want
Does
to
that
pair
spike
it
your
with
blood
a
sugar though in the
protein.
morning? By eating it?
If you have it with
A fat.
a protein or a
protein.
fat, yeah,
Okay.
protein. It just depends on what your goals are. Now, somebody who's trying to lose weight,
Mhm.
yeah, like probably need to not eat bagels. You know what I
Got
mean?
it,
Like
okay.
it just depends on what your goal is nutritionally. But
Mhm.
really, I mean, you can fit anything in. You just have to. It has to be measured. You know what I mean? Like
Got it.
your macros. So like if you want to use 50 carbs from a bagel,
Mhm.
that's fine. Or you could get your 50 carbs from 3 cups of strawberries. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right.
it just kind of depends on what. Everybody's different, so it depends on what your goal is, what works for you. So when I do like a nutrition plan for somebody, everybody's is different because you may not like chicken, you may
Mhm.
be gluten intolerant.
Right.
I've got people that are vegetarians. You know what I mean? Like it just depends.
Gotcha.
But I'm not going to say no. You can never eat a bagel or carbs are bad and everybody should be on keto. No, that's
Sure,
not.
sure.
I don't. I
Realistic,
don't
yeah.
think that's. I don't believe that. Some people might tell you that. I don't think so.
'Cause I am curious how often someone comes in, they're like, hey, I saw this diet, it looks so good, I want to try it, but it doesn't work for them. So what do
Yeah.
you do? Just try to find something close that matches it, or?
So I usually talk to people about what they've done in the past and what has worked and what hasn't worked. You know what I mean? So some people, they can go really strict, if they've got like a really lofty goal and they want to look a certain way by a certain amount of time. Some people, it's just building healthy habits of, learning what a serving of pasta looks like or learning what a serving of steak looks like and just like not overeating.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, take the approach of, well, I'm going to be really strict. And then if they eat like a little mini Snickers bar, well, then, I screwed up the whole day. And then they just go crazy the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So I try to prevent people from doing that. Like, okay, if you have whatever, a donut at work, like, okay, just get back on track for lunch and dinner. You know what I mean? So like so many people are just all or nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, got it.
Like they treat every day like 75. Well, okay, I screwed up this day. I'm just going to go crazy the rest of the day.
I'll start again tomorrow.
So, yeah. So I try to teach people to give themselves a little bit of grace, a little bit of leeway, like do the best you can with what I'm telling you to do. Like if you fall off, it's not the end of the world. Like if you have a bad weekend or a bad meal or a bad day, like drink your water, focus on your protein, small goals to start with.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on fasting?
I am not a fan of the fasting. No,
Okay.
I will say a long time ago I did intermittent fasting, but I think I also pretty much had an eating disorder at that time in my life.
Okay.
So some people love it and it works for them. If you're somebody who's lifting weights every day and working out, it's probably not a good thing because it's not going to help you. You're going to eat away your muscle. So maybe somebody that's just really overweight and they want to do intermittent fasting as a way to just cut down on calories overall, because that's all it really is. It's all about like being in a caloric deficit. So keto, all these different things, intermittent fast, all it is a way of being in a caloric deficit.
I like doing
sometimes
it
it works for people because if they have a busy schedule and I only want it. I mean, I get that. And my first meal of the day usually wasn't for lunch, not because I was trying to intermittent fast, but it was just my mornings are filled with training. So sometimes I don't eat till 11 o'clock. You know what I mean? It just depends.
It's just usually when my body gets hungry. I don't remember when I started doing like intermittent fasting, but I originally did it to actually lose weight a couple years ago, but then I realized that my body actually liked it.
Yeah.
Because I noticed
everybody's
that
different. Yeah.
eating in the morning, even if I'm eating something healthy, it just makes me feel like shit.
I feel sickly if I
Yeah.
eat in the morning.
Yeah, I can't eat it. I can't do it.
Yeah. So
But
think
if I
everybody-
wait,
yeah.
it seems to work well. And then I just have 2 big meals. I eat a big meal at lunch and a big meal at dinner.
Yeah, and you look
then
like you're a healthy weight. So, I mean, it's just what works for you.
You hear that,
know?
Matt?
You talking about eating anything in the morning makes you feel sick? Like
No, I mean like even if I eat healthy, like let's just say I eat, whatever, avocado, a couple eggs, something like that, some bacon or something.
still,
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I feel like shit regardless.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've also trained my body to do that now because I've been doing it for a while, but
Yeah.
yeah, anytime I eat now in the morning or anything, even if I have like I can't even do Starbucks or anything.
Really?
Yeah, because there's calories in it.
True.
So if I have like milk or anything like that, no, doesn't work.
Makes
Don't
sense
feel
why
good.
you just do the espresso.
I know that's why I do straight
Yeah.
espresso every morning.
hey.
like-
Nothing wrong with espresso.
That's right. Okay, so weightlifting. Now, I know that there is a big thing I think still with females lifting weights and not wanting to like bulk.
Yeah.
Why? Like, this goes back to like my high school days of our weightlifting coach at Eureka telling the girls specifically that they are not going to become like essentially
Yeah.
looking like the football players by
Yeah,
lifting
no.
weights.
It's very hard to
It's-
look like that. Yeah.
And I forgot who I was just talking to a couple nights ago. They were saying the same thing. They didn't want to like lift heavy weights. And I'm like, I'm not a personal trainer, but you just saying you want to lift like 5-pound weights,
It's not gonna.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's going to get you to where you want to be.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Most women, when they show me a picture of what they want to look like, but then they're like, but I don't want to bulk up. The person that they're showing me a picture of has a lot of muscle.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and they want to be toned. They don't want to have muscle. So yeah, I mean, it's very hard for a woman to quote bulk, like get bulky and
Yeah.
look, like when we're talking like women's bodybuilding, like the women that look. I mean, yeah, you're not going to look like that by lifting a 20-pound dumbbell for bicep curls or like overhead press. It's just not going to happen.
Sure.
You have to build muscle to increase your metabolism to burn fat. and to look that the tone look that most women want to look like. They want their arms to be toned and their legs and stuff. You have to lift. You don't have to go crazy. You have to be a power lifter, but you have to like where 10 to 12 reps, it's hard to get to those last couple reps, or 8 to 12 reps, we'll say. So, yeah. And if most people 5 pounds, they could probably do like 30 reps with 5 pounds.
Yeah. I was about to say, 5 pounds. We'd be here for a while doing 5 pounds.
5 pound girls, yeah.
That would be forever. Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get them to understand that. But once they do, I mean, all my women that have been with me for, over 6 months that have like put the time in to actually build, like they like how they look. They love how they look and they're lifting heavier.
Yeah.
And they're building muscle, but they're not bulky. They just look good. They look toned and in shape. Yeah.
For someone that's new, or say that maybe works out at their house a couple times a week or something like that, that is almost scared of going to the gym, not because of judgment or anything else, just because there's 100 machines.
Yeah.
And they're like,
overwhelming.
do I separate? Do I do shoulders and back? What am I doing? Do I do legs? What do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do for arms? I found that it's honestly hard to try and build, I don't know, some sort of workout schedule, if you will. Like, hey, this is arms day, whatever. I'm going to go in and do these specific exercises. It seems like if people could just get to that point and then actually know how to go do those exercises, they'd work out better. But it's almost like they need to be trained first. Do you suggest just having someone go in by themselves, find a buddy that goes to the gym already? I mean, what works best that you've seen for those people that need honestly the help as well with the actual understanding of the movements, what they're doing, and things like that?
So I've had it both ways. So like when I say like I do the online training, so we have a fitness app, and so like if I have some new people, like a couple of new people actually right now that are starting like the female fat loss plan. And so what that is they get my app, and it's kind of like how you're saying, well, they don't have a plan. Like they have a whole plan. So they get a day one. This is what your workout is. They click on it. There's a video that shows them how to do the movement, tells them how many, what rep range to do it in. They can plug in their weight. So something like that, where you've got it like spelled out in an app with videos, and then you've got a trainer on the other end of the app, like me, where you can like shoot me questions at any time during the day, like, hey, this machine's not open or whatever, which actually in our app, you can actually substitute pretty easily. You just click a button.
Okay.
But they need some kind of a plan. But then I have a lot of people where I like the one-on-one training, and I like knowing for sure that they're performing everything right. So like they might come in and do like 1 or 2 sessions a week with me in person.
Okay.
And then they go off the other 3 to 4 days and they train from the app with the workouts that are already in there. So yeah, I mean, it's important. They need to have a game plan. Like just deciding one day, I'm going to go to the gym, and like walking in and just randomly like doing machines. I mean, that's better than nothing, and that's good. But it's like if you're going to spend 45 minutes in there, you want it to be worth your while, and especially if you're going to do it multiple days a week.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always better to have some type of a game plan, whether it's like an online training program like what we offer, or having a personal trainer that's going to, and when I say a personal trainer that's actually going to show you. So like there's these big gyms, and they want to just keep you as a client. So they're going to like change it up crazy, and they're not really telling like, okay, we're going to do this, but okay, we're going to do this exercise. This is for your shoulders. This is how you do it. Like when I'm training people, I don't want them to be like a lifelong client. I want to teach them, give them the tools so that they can go to the gym on their own and be confident.
Yes.
And, you know what I mean? Like that's the goal, to move on. It should be like a revolving door. Then somebody new comes in. Like you don't want to have the same people dependent on you and not understand how to do it on their own.
Correct.
That's my opinion as a trainer.
Or even the people that like stay, it's like they know what they're doing. So like,
right.
What's the point of you being there? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And like sometimes they might they change their goal, or somebody decide, I want to do a show now, or I want to do that. I mean, that's fine. And I love training, but I want people to have the knowledge on their own, or so that they can share it with their friends. Like, oh, hey, I'm going to go take my friend through a workout. This is what she showed me, or, yada, yada.
Yes.
Yeah. They should have a plan.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. That seems like the biggest aspect. What do you think about Planet Fitness and their pizza days?
I don't know, because I'm not a member of Planet Fitness. So I don't even know anything about that.
What?
Yeah,
Never
what is
been to
that?
a Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness, they're just like the gym for.
No, I know what Planet Fitness is.
They have pizza days and stuff. They're just known for being unhealthy.
I don't think that's a great idea.
No, it's
personally,
not.
but
It's not a good idea. No. They also have the lunk alarm. If you're making too much sound, you get kicked out. Yeah.
I never. Never been there.
Yeah, it's an interesting place. So I know Katie had an amazing story to tell us about here.
Did I?
Yeah, you didn't want to talk about the hockey player that was killed on live TV?
So real quick, does Planet Fitness think they're Global Gym from Dodgeball or something with the pizza?
Oh my
I'm
God,
so confused.
What were they called?
Global Gym Purple Cobra or
Purple Cobras,
Yes.
yes. From
That-
Dodgeball.
That scene will forever haunt me of him just shoving it in his pants, that pizza slice.
Yes, that movie's hilarious. Yeah, but so Katie brought this to my attention before the podcast. Do you remember Clint Malarchuk? So back in 1989, a Blues player sliced the throat of an opposing goaltender, excuse me, and he was like bleeding out on the ice. Lived, but that was like a famous video forever of
Vaguely remember that.
Yeah,
I don't.
Vaguely.
What year?
I'm
Well,
not. I don't follow
it's-
hockey though. But
it's 1989, so you wouldn't
Oh, yeah.
remember. The only reason.
That's
1989 Taylor's version? Just
Oh my
kidding.
God, no! And then so recently, I guess a British hockey
So-
player?
Well, he was over in the British leagues. He used to play for Pittsburgh. He moved over there. I don't know. I don't know what team he played for. He just died like a couple weeks ago. Another player got checked and his leg flew up and sliced him right in the neck.
oh God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Ugh,
And it was sad because it was being broadcasted on TV.
that's horrible.
So
Yeah.
everyone watched that.
He was able to skate off,
Ugh,
but he was like in the process
That's
of
Yeah.
dying.
all
at that point.
adrenaline.
Yeah.
All adrenaline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Because the linesman had to like come over and like hold his neck.
Yeah.
If you
And
wa-
so
if you
now-
watch the video though, that dude definitely like kicked him in the.
It looked like a karate kick.
It definitely looked like
Oh,
a karate kick.
God, that's
So
So he's
horrible.
now what you said?
he
He's
just
manslaughter.
got arrested
I was gonna
today
say, yeah.
and charged with manslaughter. Because at first it was a total like it seemed like a total accident, but now the slow mo video, it's like there was
Oh
no
my
need for his leg
God.
to be that high.
That's horrible.
Yeah, but
Crazy.
Because
now the debate is should hockey players be required to wear like neck
Oh,
guards?
Yeah.
No.
Because now they have the
I
That's
think
lame.
it should be an option.
Yeah.
yes.
They
I think
want
I
to.
think it is an option, but
Goalies
but
wear
the
them now.
well, yeah, but the debate now is like, should it be required? Because they have those like face shield things, and that was a big thing a couple years ago that people didn't want to wear them, but now they don't really care. Like everyone wears them now.
I don't know. I think
It's a freak accident
If
thing.
it-
That 1% chance.
it hasn't happened in a long time, and the one time it does happen again is that guy definitely purposely kicked him in the neck with his skate.
Mhm.
Well, he probably meant to like kick up and hurt him somehow. I don't think he meant to like outright.
No,
kill
I'm
him.
sure he didn't mean to kill
Right.
him on the ice. I'm sure that was
Right.
not his intention.
That's just a freak
I would hope
accident.
not, at least.
Yeah, they'll find out in the trial, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we were just talking about Maplewood. Did you hear all this news about Boardwalk Waffles?
Yeah, like they didn't pay their rent or something. Or
So
I don't know. That's what I heard.
So that, and then apparently the owner started talking to a woman online. They got into a relationship. This is on Riverfront Times. I just read this the other day. I was like, this story is insane. And she gave him a loan after a couple months of knowing him for over
Oh my
$250,000.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Holy
So for people out there that get into a relationship in 3 months, probably shouldn't loan people a shit ton of money.
$250,000.
Sounds
you
like-
see a lot of that
sounds like catfish.
in small claims court. Like people be like, "Oh, well, he just took my money, but I sent it to him." That's probably a reason why courts don't get anything done. You have 80,000 small claims
Mhm.
complaints a day.
Well, I don't know. This story is just crazy. Like, she said she just gave him a loan.
Yeah, but-
for $250,000.
At a certain point, like what amount of money is too much? Like I can understand maybe $100 you pay for dinner, maybe 250,000.
Right.
What?
That's nuts.
$100 maybe he paid for dinner. All right, Matt. So she was a psychologist too.
Okay.
I don't know. Just seems like
What?
She
What's
should
the
be
correlation
smarter.
there?
Yeah.
yeah. It
She
seems
should be
like she just
smarter.
should have been smarter with this situation. But yeah, all the locations are obviously closed down now, I believe.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
He wasn't paying rent. He was getting sued from every single location, I think.
The
Every
one
single
on
landlord.
Telegraph just opened.
I know. Yeah. It's
Did it?
Yeah, like
up like a year ago or two ago.
I think it, yeah. I mean, the
Mhm.
I'm sure
Maplewood
they
one
all-
was only open for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
The Maplewood one wasn't there from, I think they built it right before COVID or maybe during COVID.
No, I have a Snapchat memory of like 7 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, they moved locations on Maplewood though. They used to be in the little tiny
Yeah.
one, and then they moved to the corner.
Yeah.
Wait, so is he still in court over the lawsuits that were filed
Yes.
against him?
Yes.
Damn.
So he has, if you look up on CaseNet, it's not great. There's a lot of cases.
Yikes.
But I just read the story. I was like, oh my Lord, stop, I guess not good for him and definitely not good for her because I don't
Right.
think she's getting that money.
Oh, there's
Or the
no
waffles.
way, man.
I mean,
she ain't getting that money back.
Obviously, there's no money. Yeah, obviously.
Maybe if he sold like a couple of the buildings and like was forced to pay her back under court order, she might get it, but
All right, with that said, let's talk about guns and hoses. Okay. So you said you're going this weekend. Maybe.
Not this weekend. It's
Or,
next week.
or sorry,
Next
next week. Excuse me, not this weekend.
Yeah, on Skanksgiving.
That's right. So you're going. So I've never been.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me, is it 6 hours of fights? They just go back to back to back
think
for
it's
like
6
4
hours.
hours
Like
or
3 hours.
Yeah.
of
3
fights.
hours?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, one fight after the next.
How many
Mhm.
fights do they usually have?
A lot.
Usually try to get like at least 10, I feel like.
Okay.
I feel like it's gotten a less number recently, but yeah, at least 10.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Where-
fun.
Where do they have it at this year?
I think Enterprise.
Okay.
That's where they usually have it.
Or tickets? Do you already get some tickets?
Our friend, her dad's a paramedic, and so we got tickets. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
4 hours. So it starts at 5:30, goes till 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 4 hours of
Perfect
fights.
timing to go out to ballpark after.
That's
That's true.
Planned it perfectly.
That's very true. Interesting. So I know that give a little background, if you would, on guns and hoses, if you could, for us. I know you talked a little bit beforehand.
Yeah, it's a great fundraiser for local first responders. So all the money goes to Backstoppers, and then what Backstoppers does is when there's an officer or a firefighter killed in the line of duty, they immediately come in, they pay off the house, they pay everything. They pretty much just take all the finances away from the burden of the family
Mhm.
that's left.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge support, and it's a great organization. They do amazing work. I've seen firsthand. I've had friends that have been killed in the line of duty, and they do a great job with the families
Mm-hmm.
that are left. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the most scary parts afterwards. You're like, holy shit, what do I now do with all of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Houses, college, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They take care of it.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And for the rest of their lives, they're
they'll-
taken
Oh,
care
wow.
of. Yeah.
that's the least we could do, I think, for anyone that's on the front
First
line
responders,
that's putting their life on the line for myself and you and anyone else that doesn't have to do that,
Mhm.
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Our most dangerous thing that we do is driving to and from work every day.
On
Right.
270.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Mhm.
Hey, it's-
Pretty
that
dangerous.
can be dangerous.
Yeah,
for
that's-
real.
Yeah.
That's very true. Okay. Okay,
They do sell T-shirts there too.
Yeah.
Like
they sell
red or like
t-shirts
blue
and-
ones to like show your support.
who you choosing?
I don't know.
Well, paramedic, that would technically be red.
One
Yeah.
of my best friends, her husband is a cop in
Can
Maryland
you get
Heights.
do they have a blue and red one? Like right down the middle?
I don't know. I think they might have like a neutral one.
Neutral?
Yeah, like you're both sides.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Anything else before we wrap up here? You got anything else for us?
12 bars is coming up soon. Not really. It's in
12
like a
bars of
month.
charity? We still have
Yeah.
like a month before
I
that.
know.
What do you-
We'll come back to that.
I was
We'll
just
come
thinking about it.
we'll come back to that in future. Yeah, they still got tickets for
Yeah, they're cheap
$22.
for $309.
All right.
Yeah,
You heard
there's
it.
like tables on the floor too, but those are like companies.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and get your Guns and Hoses tickets. How many? I might have to.
These
get
are
it.
147.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a suite though. Never
that's
mind.
fine.
You know what? Vi doesn't want to go and try to sponsor them. I mean, it sounds like a good opportunity there.
I think it's a little late for that. A little late notice. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year, yeah.
Next year we'll get a booth.
What do you call it? You can go there and like get with them, talk with them, and get ready for next year. What do they call that? No? Organizing.
Organizing, yes, yes. Budweiser Guns and Hoses. It's definitely not the Bud Light Guns and Hoses.
No.
Okay, with that said, let's see here. All right, that's all the time we have for today. But before we wrap up,
Socials.
if you would, please give a shout out to your business where people can find you. Go ahead. You can look in that camera if you'd like to and speak to the audience. You don't have to, but you can.
You can find us on our website, vmfitline.com, or on Instagram, vm.fitline.
Perfect. Yes, please check her out there. We talked about a lot of good stuff today: nutrition, working out. What else? What did we talk about at the very beginning?
I just noticed.
You're awful
Our
traveling.
career. Oh, the
The
travels.
hosts for this year, Nikki Glazer and Joe Buck.
Oh, that's
I
great.
love Nikki Glazer.
That's great.
Yeah, go to the event and tell her to get on the pod. And Joe.
Well, I am going.
Get Joe Buck on the
I mean,
pod.
she's already been in here once. You
I
know,
know.
wink, wink.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. Okay. That's all the time we have for today. However, we will be back next week at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time with a new episode, new guests, and unfortunately, more of myself and Katie Baker. If you're watching live or later and we said something wrong, said something you hate, or said something you want to hear more about, you can visit us at our website, stlouispodcast.com, and leave us a message telling us all about it. We've still been getting good comments.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I know. I checked this weekend.
We've been getting some good hate comments. As always,
Great.
keep the hate coming. We get more engagement and we get more views. It's great.
We've gained so many followers.
Yeah, we get so many followers by the hate. It's awesome. Finally, as always, we recorded this episode at Half Coast Studios, based here in St. Louis, Missouri. I think we're going to set them up a GoFundMe. That way we can get some new chairs in here for the podcast studio. But if you want to become a client as well, I mean, they're always looking for those too. All jokes aside, Matt, Alex, and the team here make sure we're well taken care of. So thank you, gentlemen. Reach out to them at halfcoaststudios.com. They can also help you with virtual podcasts as well. Pleasure speaking with you today. Pleasure hosting the podcast, and we'll see everyone again next week. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
See ya.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE. Career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today. right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.